look at the world through a biblical worldview. AFA Today.
And not only are we on AFR radio across the country, but if you happen to be a subscriber to the American Family channel on some cable systems and online at afr.net, you can also see a bright, shining day here in New York City. It was really cloudy just before we went on the air, and I think because you guys came along and we were getting our get-together on for AFA Today, I think the sun came out, warmed everything up. We've been talking about Jay Carney and the administration's frustration with the current situation with Edward Snowden because he's said to be on the run. He was in Hong Kong, then in China, back in Hong Kong. We think he went to Moscow. We think he may be on a plane to Havana, Cuba. And then from there, he may be like, I don't know, El Salvador or somewhere else. But there's all this speculation about whether or not where he's at is actually good or bad for the United States and why it matters and what it means. Well, Jay Carney read basically a list of things that he was very perturbed about with this entire situation. And they seem to be quite angry at China. And he said by, China ignoring the felony that this man has committed and the international law that he's ignoring, they've done insufferable damage to the relationship between the U.S. and China, as though we were like, I don't know, like the U.S. and Israel, really closely working together, and the president kicking in the teeth of the ally every time he gets together. I mean, this is not someone that has been a good partner with us, have they, for very long? Anyway, another item that he was asked about shortly thereafter went like this.
The repercussions in U.S.-Chinese relations for this.
Well, I'm not going to speculate about the repercussions, but the Chinese have emphasized the importance of building mutual trust, Steve, as you know, and we think that they have dealt that effort a serious setback. If we cannot count on them to honor their legal extradition obligations, then there is a problem, and that is a point we are making to them very directly.
All right, so they're very upset with China. They've been behaving badly, and now they are saying this is ruining the relationship between the two countries, and I don't know what even all that means. I don't know what they intend to do about it, but I'm a little curious as to our reaction to this. 888-589-8840. I admittedly have mixed feelings about Edward Snowden personally. I don't like people that swear an oath and then break the law and break their own word. I also know, as a journalist, there would be several things we would know right now about just how extensive the government snooping has been had he not spoken up. And this comes on the heels of us finding out that our own Attorney General was lying to the FISA court to label reporters co-conspirators of national espionage and all sorts of other stuff that was going on. 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840. Let's take some of your calls and see what you have to say about this. And Robin from North Carolina, you've been very patient. You're up first on AFA Today. So glad that you're with us, Robin. Welcome.
Hi, Kevin. You kind of, at the end of your wrap-up before your break there, you kind of summarized what I was going to say is I don't know, I can't think of the word that, to think that Eric Holder would demand that someone else uphold the law when we know some of the ridiculous stuff that he's been privy to or part of. And then I kind of think it's like the narcissist in chief that we have. I think it's one of two things. Either the narcissist in chief that we have thought he could just demand China to do something and they were just going to kowtow because he just thinks everybody does that for him. Or this is all just another one of their big blowhard shows for all the Kool-Aid drinkers out there that just, the president tried to do something and China wouldn't listen and China's a bad guy, whatever. I'm just so sick of this administration and everything they do. I'm kind of like you on the fence with Snowden. I'm not sure exactly how I feel about that, but I'm kind of glad he let the American people know what was going on. But the other thing is, I'm like, they're saying, it's these big, huge secrets he gave away. He's undermined American intelligence, and it's going to be so. What? All I can see that he gave out was that they were spying on American citizens and what all they were saying. I mean,
thus
they're
far.
taking a
And
side
and believe me, Robin, I'm not willing to make light of the fact if it's true that he had 4 laptops and they were all full of information, and they're really confused about what he may still reveal. I'm not the least bit poking fun at what the national security threat might actually be here. However, they haven't shown us that he's really threatened our national security in that way. But there does seem to be some equal concern about, from both ends of the political spectrum. So from that point, I do put a little bit of salt in the belief that, well, maybe there is a threat out there. But I do find it abjectly fall down funny, laughing, ridiculously discreditable that Eric Holder's demanding that someone else uphold the law. That is one of the funniest things I've heard in a long, long time. It's like the bully on the playground demanding that everybody else get along. It's like, you started this train wreck. What are you talking about? You go to the courts and lie about stuff about the American citizens, and then you expect China to turn around. Well, the Attorney General said, so my goodness, we better just fall in line. You want to let the Gitmo detainees come have a court right down the street from the 9/11 site, and then you want to let them build a mosque right on top of it. This is truly a funny guy. If it wasn't so sad. 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840. Let's go to Randy from Louisiana. Randy, you're up next. Hi, welcome.
Hey, thank you for taking my call. That is so funny what you just mentioned, about Eric Holder. But,
yeah.
But, anyway, I'd like to add that I'm sure hoping and praying that, for the past 215 years, I think we've had peace for 3 years out of that 215 since we've been here. And our government's been enforced with everybody. But I'm hoping and praying that our government finally gets back what they've been giving us for all this longer time, deceiving us and manipulating us and lying to us. I hope that 200 million plus or 2 million plus 100,000, when they finally come across that ocean over here, I'm going to be right there beside them helping them collect bodies, man, because we need to start a new government by the people and for the people, not by the government and for the government, which they've been deceiving us for how long now, So it's time, It's way past time. And finally they're going to get their little lies and deceiving people. It's finally catching up with them.
It seems to be. Thank you, Randy. I appreciate the call. Not sure I'm understanding the reference to the body bags, and I'm not advocating for anyone to get hurt, but I do think we need to have a degree of sobriety here about the ridiculous nature it is of Eric Holder throwing his fist down on a table and saying, "You will tell the truth." Check the mirror, pal. Check the mirror. Let's go to Bill in Virginia. Bill, welcome. You're on AFA Today with Kevin McCullough. Happy brand new week to you. Glad you're with us.
Yes, sir. I was listening to your show, and I'm a little confused with us expecting China to listen to us and obey the laws when our government here doesn't enforce any of the laws, and they don't listen to anyone either. So it sounds like a double standard. For instance, if you're a foreigner and you come here illegally, they class you as an illegal immigrant. But yet, we haven't closed the borders and we haven't done anything about that. And if they come here illegally, we actually reward them for breaking the first law. So how can we expect them to keep any of the other laws while they're here? We've had a lot of people killed in our area from people being here illegally and driving without a driver's license and driving on the wrong side of the road, hitting people head on, and as well as a lot of knifing and violence and a lot of gangs. And it's just, it's like we're rewarding bad behavior. And we're telling them, hey, you can come here, and if you break the first law, if you come here illegally, don't worry about the rest of the laws. We won't enforce any of them either. But yet, if you're an American citizen, they want to come down on all of us. Also, the IRS thing here, one big thing here in Virginia is you see advertisements on TV all the time where if you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS, call this number, and they'll work with you and they'll, reward you. They'll knock some of the payment off. Whereas if you owe $9,999 and you're struggling to pay it, you don't get any break or any reward or anything for that. I mean, they just, it's like you don't.
Well, Bill, to be candid, I think that ad that you're seeing on TV comes from a private group, not the government. And there's those IRS settlement companies actually above the 10,000 payoff mark. There's a better thing in their business model for that. But I still think if you owe less than that many of those companies will try to work with you and help you. So I want to be careful to separate who's really responsible for what here, and the IRS isn't responsible for those ads. Anyway, what we're talking about is the outrage that the administration is announcing this morning, and I've played you 2 clips already of where Mr. Carney, the press secretary, is very, very distraught, upset, angered, speaking out that those in China and other places have not done their part in helping to bring our whistleblower to justice. They've issued a federal arrest warrant that is supposed to be at a felony level recognized in all countries. But evidently China let him slip through their fingers. He was off to Moscow. Last word we heard was he may be somewhere between Moscow and Havana, Cuba. He might also be on his way to El Salvador. In any number of places, we don't really know, and evidently it took a long time to get this arrest warrant issued too. And I'm like, what's justice doing over there? They're so busy spying on news agencies and stuff. You would have thought they at least knew about the story. Hey, did you know that CNN and Fox are both talking about the fact that there's a whistleblower out there who's telling all of our secrets? No, I didn't hear that. Where'd you find that out? Well, I was watching one of the channels. 888-589. Hey, it's laugh or cry day, right? I mean, but it took them, I don't know, like 7 days to get an arrest warrant ready? 888-589-8840. Let's talk to you about your thoughts on this. Let's go next to Angela calling from Texas. Hi, Angela. Welcome. You're on with Kevin McCullough on AFA Today.
Hi. I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome.
Thank you. It's really a statement in regards to Mr. Snowden versus Nidal Hassan, the Fort Hood killer, alleged killer. I live in the Waco area, which is not far from Fort Hood, and he injured several people, murdered several people, and we have not, with the vigor, gone after him as we have Mr. Snowden in just weeks.
Angela,
4 years.
you take my caller for the day here, because you're bringing in something that I had not thought of, and it's really an important case. What you're pointing out is this unabashed hypocrisy between the anger out of the White House at this little geeky, nerdy computer guy that's out there with these laptops versus a guy that took weapons and on one of our military bases took the lives of innocent Americans and injured dozens more. Angela, you take the Binge Thinker Award for today because you've actually pointed out one of the most relevant pieces of this discussion.
Yes. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I'm sorry. I've just been concerned with that. It's been 4 years with Nidal Hassan, and we kowtowed to the Islamic religion and tried to be politically correct. And I don't know how I feel about Mr. Snowden's case, but we're not doing too much quote-unquote PC correctness with Mr. Snowden. I just feel like there is a great contradiction. And just wanted to stick that out there, and I'll get off the phone.
No, thank you, Angela, for that. What a great observation. I mean, you talk about a threat to American lives. This is a guy who took American lives on our soil after pledging to protect and uphold. And we workplace violence. Because it's workplace violence, we're not even paying the victims' families what they would be paid if they were killed in the line of duty, as first reported on AFA today. 888-589-8840. So glad that you're with us. Let's talk.